Hey guys, everybody. So I'm gonna give you an update to my OSP journey and where I'm currently at. So just to let you know, I finished about 93% of the course. Now, looking at the course, I was having some issues with SQL injection attacks, and I wasn't able to completely go through that one. Had some issues with common web application attacks, and again, wasn't able to complete that one, as well as fixing exploits, which there's only a lab or two basically I couldn't complete because I was just running into some issues, and the Discord didn't really help that much for it. So there's a Discord where they have this bot, and you can request the bot's assistance and he'll give you some hints, but sometimes those hints don't help all that much. And so there's just a few labs I wasn't able to complete. Once you complete this much of the course, then you can go to the challenge lab area. And this is where you have your challenge labs for the actual exam prep, right? So they recommend that you do the med tech and then the Skylark one, OSP A, B, and C. So I tried MedTech and I absolutely had so many issues with that one. I was having so much trouble, just to be honest with you. And OSP A, I was also having issues with that one, where I felt like the training material didn't quite prepare me um, for these challenge labs. Uh, the network's pretty large. You'll have for MedTech like 20 boxes or something like that. And for OSPA, you only have about 6 or 7. So it's a lot smaller. And so you can only imagine with an attack surface that large with different hosts, it can take you a while to actually enumerate every single one of them and find that one pivot point or that one point where you'll be able to gain initial access, right? That can be quite difficult. So what I've done is taken a step back and said, okay, Danny, um, let's take a look at your TTPs and kind of improve them, and then let's give these another shot. Right. So I took a look at TJ Knowles' list, which he has, and you could Google it, just TJ Knowles' list. And if you do it, you'll see that he has a PWK 2003 version, which is the most updated version, I believe. Um, oh, actually, I just clicked on that and it popped up. I think this is the link for it. All right, whatever. I'm gonna close that. I accidentally opened it. But anyhow, here you have the Linux boxes from Hack the Box, and the green ones I completed, right? So I completed these a while back. I plan to re-up my Hack the Box subscription and complete these. And you can see I have these sorted by complete screen. Red, I have not completed it, and actually anything that's not green, I have not completed. And the yellow is in progress. These are not in progress. That's just what I set some of. Like for instance, this is in progress. This was in progress, right? And the reason they're in progress is because they were pretty difficult. But you can see I've completed a lot of the Proving Ground boxes, which if you don't know, Proving Ground comes with your subscription. So if you go to Labs Practice, it'll take you to Proving Grounds. Right? And then here you can see, for example, I'm going to search one of these. So Help Desk, right? If I go here, type in Help Desk. They have a search bar on the right. You can't see it, but if you see, you can see it's right here. Right? Play this one. Its difficulty is easy. Some of these are easy. Some of them are like medium, right? And I'm going through all the easy ones first. So if we take a look at the list, just delete that. Back over here, search it. You go sort by difficulty, and I'm gonna try and knock out all the easy ones first, and then do the intermediate, like medium boxes, basically. And I probably won't go into the hard area because that's, from what I hear, it's a little much. You're not going to come across something like that on the exam, from what I've heard, according to Reddit. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And you can see that there's 22 boxes here, there's 14 boxes here, there's 7 boxes here. So if you do a box a day, you'll eventually grind through this list, right? It may take a few months, but I think 1 box a day, maybe one box every day or two. So maybe one day you spend going through it on your own. I don't mean the whole day. I only mean like maybe an hour or two of that day. You spend trying to crack at that box, right? And if you can't, then they do have the walkthrough. So if you click here, try to expand this a little bit. Actually, let me make this a little smaller and then move this over to the right. So if you take a look here, it's let's scroll up to the very top. It's got the walkthrough right there. So if you start it, you'll be able to click on the walkthrough and it'll show you what you need to do to get through it. And so I'd recommend give it a crack one day, second day, you spend an hour on that first day or 2 hours on the first day, and you've taken a look at your TTPs, right? So for me, my TTPs would be, let me pull it up here, right here. So they're mapped right here. I have TTPs for every protocol, and then TTPs based off the course material and even TryHackMe, and then useful commands. You can see I've kind of organized everything, enumeration for different system like level settings, files, permissions for both Linux and Windows. Using Cherry Tree, I was able to organize this a little bit better. So I have this and OneNote, and I use OneNote as kind of my database search, and I use this as more of my structured TTP methodology of how I go through it, right? So first, I'm checking, doing nmap scans, full nmap scans, directory searching if it's got port 80 open, if it's got like a web server running, Nikto, which does a quick dir check and also directory check and also check for low-hanging vulnerabilities, and then manual review of the websites if there's websites or some type of protocol, and then search for the exploits. And if it's got something like MySQL or something, I'll check for exploits against those. If I'm able to upload some type of PHP reverse shell, I'll try to do that. And I'm also looking for creds or any type of manual exploitation if maybe the auto exploits aren't working, or not so much auto exploits, more of like the scripts that you find on GitHub or ExploitDB, right? So this is my attack procedures that I've created. And I've also got more details. So for instance, if I click on FTP enum, I've got some notes here on some of the nmap commands I could run to check for low-hanging vulnerabilities. And then also if I need to brute force it, I typically do that as well, but you won't come across a whole lot of brute forcing when you get to the OSCP level. It's more of looking for the exploits, right? And that's where you have to look at the versions and such. But it's something that's there if I need it. It's a quick reference. That's what it is. But I'm improving them, right? So I'm going through these easy boxes and I'm saying, okay, well, maybe I could get through half of this on my own. I could gain my initial access, but I can't do the privilege escalation. And in that case, I'll pull out my notes here, and at the end of it, I'll do like a not after actions report. I'll do the after actions report and say, why couldn't you do it? Was it because you didn't have a TTP for a specific protocol? Because if you didn't, add it. Add it to your notes. Add it to this. If it was HTTP protocol and there's something you didn't do, add it to this. If it was a useful command that you should have in your toolbox, add it to this, right? But trying to really look at the process, because I'm trying to improve my TTPs, so eventually I will be able to complete these boxes on my own. And what I've realized doing one box a day has greatly increased in helping me learn what TTPs I should add, as well as what works and what doesn't work, right? I'm getting more proficient and experienced by doing this. So I'm going to continue to go through this list. I'm prioritizing these boxes listed here, but at the same time, once I complete the easy ones on this list, I will just refer to whatever easy ones I have left and knock those out, right? And that's kind of the campaign I'm going to go through, is to just get these easy ones done and then move on to the more harder ones. And I'm going to do that for both Proving Grounds, Hack the Box, and looks like that Proving Grounds Play with additional boxes you can do. Once I complete this list, then I'll give the Pen 200 course challenge boxes another shot, right? So if I click here and go to Pen Challenge Labs, I'm gonna give these another shot, see if I can actually get in to any of these. And if I can't, then I have to reevaluate, everything. But I'm learning as I go. I'm happy with that, right? They also have the Pen 100 course, which I'm taking a look at. So it's not called Pen 100, it's actually called the Network Penetration Testing Essentials. And if I put that up here, let me just go ahead and move this down a little bit. But if I just type that in here, you see it's right here, Network Penetration Testing Essentials. So then if you take a look at it, it's got basic stuff for Linux, Windows, Bash scripting, network scripting. It's fun. It's actually fun, and I enjoy it because there's a few things I don't know, but a lot of the stuff I already know. It's a nice refresher for sure. And it's more toolbox I can add if maybe I didn't know something. And you just gotta stay humble throughout this process because there's a lot of stuff that you don't know, right? And you can't pretend you know everything. All right, so that's my journey so far. It's mainly focused on, hey, let's go through the easy ones. Let's do a little bit of Pen 100 course on the weekend when I have more time. Let's do some of the Active Directory hacking ones um, off of TryHackMe, and maybe going through the Active Directory notes for the Pen 200 again, and just making sure that once I start getting into that, because the hardest part is getting the initial access, and then once you get initial access, then you're referring to your TTPs that you learned throughout the course, and that's when it kind of becomes a little bit easier. Having a structured methodology is also a challenge. It's something that you have to tailor to your own experience. Maybe you don't need this. Maybe you have experience and you don't need to have your TTPs listed out in Cherry Tree. Maybe you prefer another method of doing it. Why don't you drop down in the comment section what's working for you, what's your study schedule, what are some resources you're utilizing, what's your experience if you passed it, and just help the greater community as a whole, because we're all trying to get through this one together. And if we take a look at the stats, according to OSCP, if you do number of PWK lab machines, if you've completed like 85%, then well, let's say you've completed 61 to 70% of the PWK labs, then you have 85% chance of passing. So looking at this list, you easily have maybe, I would say 22, 14, 8, 7, that's at least 50, at least 70, maybe 80 boxes on here minimum, if not more than 80. So if you complete like all these, then technically, according to the stats, you should have greater chance of passing the certification. So I can only imagine that after getting through this, you're going to learn some stuff along the way. And even at the end of the day, if the OSCP doesn't work for me, this still helps me. I mean, it still helps me. And if I go and do like the ECPPT or the PMPT, or whatever certification I choose to do, either in substitution of this or, maybe you always be prepared for plan B, right? You fail. Everyone hates to talk about it, but I'm not afraid to talk about something that could happen. And if that happens, then it happens. And, I learned a lot throughout the process and become stronger and more knowledgeable than I used to be. And that's the type of approach I'm taking at this, right? But at the same time, you know, I'm learning. That's the most important part. Just learning. And I'm gonna give you another update maybe in a few months, see where I'm at, see if I'm ready. Um, this may be demotivating for some people who think I'm gonna take the OSCP course and I'm gonna be ready. And it's not an all-encompassing course, meaning You definitely need something to substitute your knowledge, and it's not the end all be all. You can't just complete this and be ready. That's all I gotta say. Um, you've got to establish your methodology. You've got to be able to look at things outside the box and find that exploit that'll get you that initial access, do your enumeration, pivot, and be good at it. Now, looking in hindsight, should I have taken the ECPPT beforehand? Maybe. Should I have taken the PMPT beforehand or PJPT beforehand? Maybe. Is it too late? No, I could still do that if I wanted to. You know, um, for some people, you're spending a lot of money, so I can understand like preloading all that knowledge in the beginning before you spend money on the subscription that costs like $2,500, which some people could have their employers pay for it, you know, and it won't break the bank, break your wallet, but others can't. So highly recommend preload as much as possible. Don't be like me and kind of like say, oh, I got the EJPT and a bunch of experience and I'm just gonna go into this. I'm gonna be ready because you're gonna finish the course and you're gonna be like, oof, there's still a lot of work to be done, you know. But as long as you're willing to do the work, and at the end of the day, everyone has a different journey. Some people take it, some people pass it first time, some people take it, fail it, do some other certification like the Easy PPT or the Hack the Box Academy certification they have. I don't know the name of it. It's so many acronyms these days. But they do those and then they give OSCP another shot, they pass it, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about that knowledge. That's where the value comes, right? So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you have a good day. Danny out.